Let's talk about casting out demons.
But before we get into casting out demons, let's look at why a lot of times people don't want demons cast out. It's a story in the Bible. It speaks, not to jump the gun, I get back to it, but not to jump the gun, just to highlight it. It's a story in the Bible who speaks about a herd owner. He lost every swine that he had, every pig that he had, he lost all of them, every single one of them. Because Jesus cast a demon out of two men. And the demon, demons, multiple demons, they went into the swine, his herd of swine. And he lost everything. He lost all of his swine. He lost his entire herd. As a result, he went into the town. And he told the people of the town what had happened. So everyone in the town came out to meet Jesus. Everyone in the town came out to meet Jesus. And when they came out to meet Jesus, they begged him to leave. Sometimes in our walk, we don't wear our losses. Like if you were to tell people how many losses, how much you lost on your walk with Jesus, imagine how many people would gather together, congregate, and be like, no, we don't want Jesus. Not in this area, not in this area. We want to keep our unclean things. Because the things that the demons possess, they are attached. So if the demons leave, so do the things that we possess with their presence leave. So they are compatible. We're compatible with demons. We don't want them out of our life. So before we allow you to make them depart, we beg you, please depart. Don't cast out any more demons, because we don't know what else we're going to lose as a result of you casting out demons. Alright, so now let's get into it. So in Matthew chapter 8, verse 28 through 32, when he had come to the other side, to the country of Gergesenes, there met him two demon-possessed men, coming out of tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no one could pass that way. Sometimes our promise is on the other side of the path that what we are afraid of is blocking. We'll get back to that. Let's read it again. Coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, two men possessed with demons, so that no one could pass that way. And suddenly they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with you, Jesus, you Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before our time?" Now, I find that funny, because they're asking him if he came to do to them what they were already doing to the two men that they possessed. You got to understand that they had them in and out of tombs. When you're in a tomb, you're in close proximity of something that's dead. Someone is buried inside of a tomb, and you're in it. You're tormenting them to the point where they're comfortable with death. They're so near death that they're literally in coffins. They're in tombs. They're with bones. They're with grave clothes wrapped up, and they're in a body that was a body, and it's still wrapped in grave clothes with bandages around the hands and around it. That was their culture. That's what they did to dead bodies back then. So, all right, let's continue. So now, a good way off from them, a good way off from them, where they were, where the demons, where Jesus was, where his disciples, they were following him, and they got to a path that the demons came running out of tombs, and it jumped in front of them, and with so much fierce and force that all of the disciples and Jesus were cut off. They wouldn't let none of them pass them. Not one couldn't pass them. That's how fierce they were. That's how many demons possessed these two individuals, that they could stop multiple people from accessing the path that they were blocking. Alright, so let's continue reading. Now, a good way off from them, a good way off, not in close proximity, a good way off from them, there was a herd of many swine feeding. It was a herd of many swine feeding. So the demons begged Jesus. Listen to that word, beg. The demons begged Jesus, saying, if you cast us out, permit us to go away into the herd of swine. So, as they looked around, they couldn't see anything close. Not a sheep, not an ox, not any more bypassers on the opposite side that wasn't on the path that they were blocking. They looked far off, a ways off, and they seen a herd of swine that was feeding. And they said, permit us to go into the herd of swine. See, in order to understand that, you have to back up to the Old Testament, when swine was actually considered impure, defiled, and you weren't supposed to eat it. It wasn't until the New Testament, when Jesus came, when he said it's not what goes into a man's mouth that makes him unclean, but it's what comes out of the man's mouth that defiles the whole body. So they're seeing something that they associated with being unclean, and they say, permit us to go into that's unclean. So the possessions that the man actually possessed that he lost was let's continue. Now a good ways off from them, there was a herd of many swine feeding. So the demons begged him, saying, if you permit us to go away into the herd of swine. Jesus said, go. One word. They didn't want to be nowhere near him. They looked far ways off, and they found the closest defiled thing that they could identify with. And they said, permit us to go into the swine. And Jesus said one word, go. Couldn't be in his presence. Man, if Jesus inside of you, man, it's not a demon that can stand in your presence. They can't stand your presence. They'll cast their self away. Let's talk about casting out demons. We'll get back to that. He said, go. So they went into the herd of swine, and suddenly, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the water. Suddenly, violently, steep place into the sea, perished in the water. When you look at following Jesus, it's no telling where you'll end up at. See, like, to draw the scenario for you, the disciples just followed him onto a boat. And when they were onto the boat, a great tempest arose, and the boat started taking on water. They thought they were going to die, so they woke up. Jesus said, save us. Look, we about to perish. Save us. Do something. Save us. And now, when they got off of the boat onto the other side, that they were traveling to the other side, they entered the country that they're in now. And the disciples are still following him. Because one of the scribes asked Jesus, he said, he told Jesus, he said, I'll follow you anywhere you go. Jesus said, okay. He said, look, let me tell you. The fox have a hole, the birds of the air have a nest, but the Son of Man have no place to lay his head. So if you want to follow me, there's no telling where you're going to end up at. There's no telling how much you're going to lose when you follow Jesus. No telling how much you got to give up. Because remember, the other disciples said to him, let me bury my father first. Let the dead bury the dead. You just follow me. What? Do you know how many people will look at you crazy if you don't show up to your own parent funeral? You know how many people will talk about you? But the Bible says, a friend of the world is an enemy of God. We'll get back to that too. Okay, so let's keep going. So the path that they were on literally was the valley of the shadow of death. And on that path, they bumped into a resistance. And this resistance was coming from a place of death. This resistance was coming from the Father of all things that's dead. This resistance was coming from a place that no life is permitted to enter. The tomb. This is where you go when life is over, when you cease to exist. This is where these madmen that's possessed by demons reside. They're comfortable around death. How many of us are in close proximity of death and everything around us is dead? There's no life and people don't speak any life into your situation. Everything is death. People are comfortable with you not having anything. People are comfortable with you not prospering in life. How many of us are comfortable with the demons we surround ourselves with and make ourselves compatible with them? They become our comrades. Soldiers of the same struggle, death. So anyways, they was coming out with such power that no one could cross the path that they were blocking. I don't like that. Let's dig into that. See, God don't bring us to something not to take us through something. So if he bring us to something, regardless of what's on that path, can't no demon possessed person, can't no demons that possess that person, or the devil that sent them assigned to block the border of the path, so I promise prevent us from going through whatever he brought us to. Not happening. Mark chapter 16 verse 17. And these signs will follow those who believe. In my name they will cast out demons. They will speak with new tongues. They will take up serpents. And if they drink anything deadly, it will by no means hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick and they will recover. They shall cast out demons in my name. Satan, I rebuke you. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. To resist is to withstand the actions or the effects of actions. To withstand is to remain undamaged or unaffected. We shall remain undamaged. We are not damaged goods. We are good at damaging the demonic forces that pose a threat to our life. We shall remain undamaged. And as we see, the demons that couldn't kill the two men that they possessed, they forced them in and out of tombs, in the graves, but they could not make the tombs their grave. How many of us aren't supposed to be here right now? How many of us are not supposed to be here right now? How many of us have been afflicted and tormented by the enemy, routinely having near-death experience? The devil had us in and out of those tombs. He would have been killed you, because as soon as Jesus said go, as soon as he said go, they went into the herd of pigs, and suddenly they went into the sea and perished. They ran violently. Violently. Look at how many demons it took to possess two men. Look at how many demons. Enough that possessed an entire herd of pigs. But why would it take so many demons to possess two men? So why so many? You know the Bible says that one of us, just one, can chase away 1,000. And two of us can put 10,000 to flight. That's why it takes so many demons to possess one person, to possess two men. In Matthew chapter 8 verse 34, let's talk about what happens when demons get chased away and they get put to flight. We're going to read about what happens. This is why when you cast out demons, you're not welcome. Let's read. In Matthew chapter 8 verse 34. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they begged him to depart. When they saw, the whole city came out to meet him. They begged him to depart from their region. So let me understand. The demons begged Jesus to depart from his presence. And the people begged Jesus to depart from their region because they cast out demons. And the demons that they cast out went into the things that they cherished, and they lost the things that they cherished as a result of Jesus being present. So they begged Jesus to leave so they wouldn't lose any more things that they were attached to, even if those things that they were attached to were attached to demons. They were compatible. They were willing to accept whatever came with their environment as long as they got to keep whatever they had. They begged Jesus to depart from their region. How many of us are like that in our life? We welcome Jesus into our life, but in certain regions that we don't feel like he should be in, because when he's present, we start losing people, we start losing business partners, we start losing companions, we start losing friends, because the Bible said every tree that don't produce fruit shall be chopped down and thrown into the fire. It'll be chopped down from the root. It ain't no growing back. It ain't saying you're gonna lose a branch. You're just gonna lose a communication for a week. See, that's why, like, when people, when they first start following Christ, they get discouraged because they start going through things that they feel like a Christian shouldn't go through, because a follower of Christ shouldn't go through, because they feel like Christians, followers of Christ, don't speak about going through those things. But in all actuality, like, our weaknesses, God said his power is made perfect. His strength is made perfect in our weaknesses. So it is our weaknesses that leave a map for the people who struggling and been through the same thing that we've been through to get through it. But we don't like to talk about our weaknesses because for some reason we think that it makes us seem weak. He didn't need, when you go back to like possessions, alright? It was a young man who came to Jesus. He said, I do everything right. I never broke any laws. I follow the laws and everything right. What do I do? What am I missing? And Jesus told him, he said, he was a rich young man. Jesus told him, he said, sell everything that you have, give it away, and follow me. The man was sorrowful. He was hurt because he wasn't willing to give up his riches because he had great possessions. See, he didn't need a demon to physically possess him because he was greatly possessed by the things that he possessed. So that's why I say, like, many of us, we're like the people of that country, because Jesus was welcome in the country, but it's just the people in that town. They said, no, not if it means that we're going to lose. He lost his whole herd. Imagine if you come in my area. Imagine if you come to the area that I live in, that I frequent in, that I prosper in. I'm not trying to lose anything. Like, no, you're not welcome. We beg you, please leave. No more demons. Don't cast out no more demons. We don't want your presence here. Demons run from your presence. He came and told us what happened to him. We do not want that to happen. How many of us are like that in life? We want God in our life, but in certain areas and certain regions that he's not allowing. It's just certain areas that we're like, no, you can't come here. I'm not trying to lose this car. I'm not trying to lose this associate. I'm not trying to lose my promotion. I'm not trying to lose my gang. I ain't trying to lose my sorority. I ain't trying to lose my sisterhood. I ain't trying to lose my brotherhood. They're just starting to like me. I'm just starting to fit in. I'm not trying to lose what I have. No. If it means me accepting you, meaning I lose everything that I acquired, then no. No, stay out of it. Please depart. Please. You're welcome in my life, but not this area. You can change everything about me except for this. God don't work like that. Because where there is darkness, light can't abide. Where there is light, darkness can't abide. If you are a friend of this world, you are an enemy of God. If you are an enemy of God, you are a friend of this world. It's no in between. So, sometimes we'll have to get unrooted from the things that we are connected from. And losing companions, losing things that you work so hard to acquire. Separation from them things, you might not even know how you can pay your next bill. Like, that's a sacrifice that you have to make when you're walking with God. But God said, if the evil person give their kids good gift, how much more will I do for you? He said, I know what you need before you even ask. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all its righteousness and everything else will be added unto you. A foolish person thinks that all gain is godliness. Gain isn't godliness. The things that you gain is not godliness. But contentment, and godliness is great gain. Gain isn't godliness, but contentment and godliness is great gain. See, the young man thought that all of the possessions that he had, he thought that was great gain. It wasn't. Because Jesus told him in exchange, he said, give up everything that he said, sell everything that you own and give it away. He said, you'll have riches in heaven, stored from you in heaven. He couldn't visualize it. He couldn't see heaven because the hell that he was in. The demons that possessed those things he was attached to, he wasn't willing to let them go. Sometimes we attach to our demons. So when a person of God come in your presence, everything that's not like God must flee. So that's why we run from people that God light shine through. You can see the light. People can see the light on you. They'll run from you. No. Them demons gonna run. No. The demons don't even got to run, because the people that the demons inside are gonna run the demons away from you. No. You're not welcome. No. Not in my region. Not in my presence. They're gonna take off from you. But a lot of times at the end of my videos, you'll always hear me say Armanti Life Coaching Services. I always recommend Armanti Life Coaching Services. And the reason why I do that is that's a beautiful sister. I mean, she speaks life. She speaks life into death. People who are broken, they come to her. She humbled herself, so God have exalted her in the presence of people because she humbled herself. The reason why she's comfortable at humbling herself, she's comfortable with humiliation. Someone could come to her and give her a compliment, and she'll give the compliment right back to them. She'll put them above herself. See, she's been broken to the lowest form anything shattered can be reduced to. And if someone else comes to you that's broken and you're not healed, you're broken yourself, you'll actually do them more damage. Because the way that Jesus healed people, when he took on their infirmities, he took on their mental and their physical weaknesses, he took it onto himself, and in exchange, he gave them his healing. He bare what they were going through, and in exchange, he gave them peace, his peace. She's been broken to the lowest form in life. She's lost everything. She's gave up on life. See, God put her back together. He stitched her back together with love. She no longer lived for herself. She been gave up on herself. So anybody going through something in life, if you feel like giving up on yourself, she been through the same thing that you've been through. Losing, if you lost everything in life and you don't know how to find your way back forth, because the path that you're on, you're going to keep repeating it. Demons are blocking your path. If you don't know how to get to the other side on that path because what you're afraid of is blocking your promise, I'm telling you, she's been reduced to nothing. She's been reduced to 3 decimals after 0. And God pulled her back up. It's not on her strength. It's not on her will. Thank Jesus Christ. All praise be to God. She take no praise. She take no glory. All glory be to God. She's the type of person, if you're on the ship, if you come to her and you're like the disciples and you're on that boat in life and you're starting to drown and you're panicking and you don't know what to do, she's the type of person, if she's the captain of that ship and it's only one life raft, she'll give you that life raft so that you can go to safety, and she'll jump in your situation and she'll try to repair that ship that's going down. And if she can't repair that ship that's going down, she'll go down with that ship and try to save as many people on that ship as possible, as long as you get to safety. Because when you come to her, she bear your burdens, she bear your pain, she bear what you're going through, because she been through it. God would take someone who's been through the same situation that you're going through, but they've been healed from it, so they have healing on the inside of them that they can actually give to you, and they can bear your burden because they've been through it before. So that's why I recommend Armanti Life Coaching Services.